Thank you for that explanation of the challenges that you're facing and the solutions that you're looking for. I found that it's useful to sketch down a diagram of how these pieces of data plus AI plus CRM plus trust all fit together. And it starts right here in the CRM workflow, where we're a service agent or a salesperson looking at a record here in Salesforce. And we first layer in this contextual information specific to this account that we're looking for or this individual that we're looking to service. So we've got information maybe coming from multiple Salesforce clouds, maybe from external systems right here in the workflow. And this backward-looking information, it almost looks like a rearview mirror. That's really useful. But what really brings it to life is when we layer in this predictive information right here in context where I can see the prediction. That in and of itself is useful, but it's even more useful when I layer in the why, building trust in that prediction. And then the real coup de grace is the what to do about it. What's the next action that this service person or this salesperson can take at this moment with this person? Collectively, we call this the intelligent experience for your CRM, and it's a best practice pattern for working with Salesforce. So now let's take a look underneath the covers, and that's where Data Cloud comes into the picture. And Data Cloud is growing out of the amazing work done in Marketing Cloud with our customer data platform, CDP, where Marketing Cloud for years has been solving the really hard problems of taking unknown visitors to known, unifying profiles, doing this at scale, near real time, really hard problems. And now we're spreading this across the entire Salesforce platform, where it begins with ingesting data from multiple places. Many of our customers have data in multiple Salesforce clouds, multiple Salesforce orgs. And also by opening this up, we realize you've got data everywhere. You've got it in files, on-premise, and you can bring that data in as well, either through direct connectors or through MuleSoft here. And many of our customers are leveraging the power of cloud-based data lakes already, like Snowflake, and you can bring that information as well through zero ETL. We actually materialize those tables directly here in Data Cloud without having to move that information. So we bring all that data together, and then a key step here in the process is unifying that information. So taking that information from the various systems and bringing it down into that single record that represents that individual, that account, and through reconciliation rules, and bring that all together. Once we unify it, now we can really start doing some cool stuff with AI, machine learning, calculated insights on this information, and then we put it out here, and this is what can feed this intelligent experience. And this external data that we brought in can come here and be fed right into this same experience up here. So no more swivel chair effect for our users. So this is great. And then when we look to explore this data, so with Tableau, we got an amazing capability when we acquired Tableau a few years back called Hyper. And this provides the ability to slice and dice this data at scale with Tableau. So you can turn your analysts loose finally on the Salesforce data model in a rich environment for exploring that information. But it's not just for those analysts. So you may have heard of Pulse. Well, Pulse is this information or this idea about deconstructing the dashboard. Usually when you're going to a dashboard, you're looking for some number of metrics that you're interested in. Well, we've taken that idea and elevated metrics to a first-class citizen. So you can actually come in here and see a metric. On top of that metric layer, we've added insights. So we're actually looking for changes or significant movements in that underlying metric, and we're displaying it right here. And then we have natural language text explaining what's going on. So we're expanding the reach of this intelligence out to those that may not live in Salesforce day to day. They may not live in Tableau, but now they can get that intelligence brought directly to them. And then the third layer of that pulse interaction is it knows how to display itself in various contexts. And those executives, I like to think of these as cards. They can have multiple cards tailored to the metrics that they are interested in or KPIs. And they can take these cards and flip them over because they may have further questions too. And then they can engage with Copilot in an interactive Q&A with that data to get down to exactly what they are interested in. And this capability, as we talked about before, it grew out of Marketing Cloud, so we can feed segmentation and activation in Marketing Cloud, but you can also drive with Data Cloud full automation through flows. So taking that incredible flow engine, feeding it with this information to drive that automation. So all of this possible with Data Cloud today. Now, the big buzz these days is generative AI, right? So if we come back to our user experience right here, the idea of Copilot is about layering in generative AI, though your users won't know that, right here in the flow of work. So imagine this drop down. Maybe I'm a service person that needs to respond to a customer. I now have a drop down here that lets me ask questions and generate content. And LLMs are all the rage right now, right? Large language models. But what we've done is we've wrapped these LLMs in a layer of trust so that you know that your users can use this in a trusted way. So when this user goes in and wants to generate this content, well, let's say they're generating this reply. Well, that reply comes down through Data Cloud and it's generating what we call a prompt. And this idea of using generative AI these days, it's a bit of a trade-off or a polarity between the power of the LLM and the question that you actually ask and the data that you provide in that question. Well, by bringing that question down through Data Cloud, we pick up all this contextual information about who that person is, what the case is about, what their prior history is, and we can use that information to craft a really great question. Now, along the way, we may have picked up some PII information. So there's this step in here about stripping that out and masking that information before we pass it through our trust layer. So our trust layer, our trust gateway, can hit multiple LLMs, OpenAI, even including our own LLMs or yours that you bring yourself. So you're isolated and insulated from a particular LLM, and you can plug in the best of breed for your particular use cases. So we pass it through this trust layer, that prompt information. We have agreements with these LLMs. They never store that information. So it's not stored, it's masked. When we bring it back, we go ahead and rehydrate that information here, and we bring that content back. So a trusted way to leverage this generative AI capability across your organization. We can actually jump into our instance of Salesforce. I can generate an email for you today that uses this technology and this trusted flow for generative AI. So that is it in a nutshell. That's how all of these pieces of the data plus AI threaded through here, plus CRM, plus trust, all fit together. Happy to dive into any one of these elements more, but thank you for your time today.